everybody, welcome back to the Detox Journey. Hope you're all doing well with your fast currently.
Yeah.
My gosh, what are we? We've fasted social media.
Okay.
And one meal a day.
And 1 meal a day. Well, you know what? Actually, let's touch on that just
Okay.
real quick.
Okay.
Just real
Let's
quick.
do it.
I'm gonna get this out of the way right away.
Let's roll it.
So I'm weird. We already know that. A lot of the time, I only eat 1 meal per day. So personally, I had to kind of do some self-reflection, some figure out, well, what can I do?
Okay.
And through
what does that look like?
Yeah, what does that look like for me, right?
Sure.
Like, I don't think I can go 40 days, 40 nights with no food or water like Moses, much greater man than me. But I mean, maybe, right?
Okay.
But no. So
Are you going to wind up getting stuck out into the desert too? I mean, don't go to West Texas, Mike.
Slow down.
But no, just to say that like through the digital discipleship app, I kind of made that comment on there, and I got some feedback from some folks, and someone's was really good. Like, well, since you already only eat 1 meal a day, yeah, probably shouldn't fast that 1 meal. But maybe you could take that time and use it for more worship time. So what I've tried to do now throughout the week is the time that I would normally take for lunch, I'll go into my bedroom and I'll lay down, and my thoughts in my mind will be completely centered on God and on prayer. And that's kind of been how I substituted the fasting 1 meal a day.
Okay.
Which is, it's kind of funny because since we started this, I've been in prayer pretty much nonstop, it seems like throughout the day.
Good.
But that's
good.
more dedicated time where you're actually in that stillness, in that quiet, and just really having that dialogue.
Yeah.
So
how are you guys feeling about Daniel? You know, like, I mean, I'm sure we've all read it before, but like, how are we feeling about Daniel right now? You know, this whole fast and the fast that he was doing, and you know, now we're doing a fast, and you know, he did without, and we're doing without at least 1 meal.
Yeah.
But like reflecting on Daniel, how are we feeling about Daniel?
I think one of the things about Daniel to me that really stands out is in the opening chapter, and we've talked about this so many times, you know, already in this journey, about how to study your Bible, right? Don't just read it, study it.
Right.
Sure.
Because I think sometimes we just kind of read over things. It's like, wait, that just gave us a lot of backdrop as to what was happening. And in chapter 1, where it's like, all right, they're being basically exported out of Jerusalem into Babylon, a foreign country, foreign land, whatever like that.
Yeah.
And they're being put into the service of the king.
Uh-huh.
Now there's a lot behind what type of service and what was supposed to be happening, what was going on there, that it's like, whoa, like this would be a radical experience, right? And it's basically, you do what the king says,
or else.
oh, you're done, son.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
He's swimming with the
100%.
fishes.
Yeah, right. And for Daniel to just come in so bold, right off the front, when they're like, hey, you get the choice foods and the choice, you know, you get the best of the best because you're going to be serving the king. He's like,
no.
He said, that's not the best of the best.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to do, and I think that's the thing that stands out to me, is first off, he's like, I'm going to continue the commands that God has already given me.
Okay.
Because the meat and the things that they were going to be given were not kosher to the dietary plan that basically that they had already had from some things in Deuteronomy and so on.
Yeah. So?
But he's so bold. Like, I mean, where does that come from? To just be like, I'm in a foreign land. I'm basically, if I upset, and I'm just saying,
the odds are against me, and I'm still gonna say, hey, nah.
Yeah.
Talk about
10
faith.
days.
Talk about faith, and then puts it all on the line and says, no, 10 days, I want my vegetables, I want my water.
Yeah.
That's it. And then let's evaluate and see where I'm at after that.
Well, what I like about it also is like, not only is it confident, it's kind of like a boss move. It's like,
Absolutely.
oh, you think you're in control? I'm gonna show you you're not.
Right. And then
You know, it was like a flex.
and then that guy's like, hey man, I could lose my head.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna get in trouble for you.
Yeah. And it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's such confidence, right? And to me, the thing that's like underlined there, right? We read over it, we don't really put ourselves in that context of what Daniel was really dealing with. To have such confidence and trust in God in that moment. And not we say trust in God all the time, right? It's Hobby Lobby verses, it's everywhere.
Sure.
But I mean, that's what he put some weight on it. He said, you give me 10 days and watch. And I like how too, it doesn't say, and then, you know, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and we'll do it too. He's like, and let them do it with me. me. I bet they were like,
Wait
what?
a minute. Whoa.
Hold on. I might want some of that wine and some of that good food. Like, I'm pretty sure.
They're like, oh, Daniel, that's what we're doing, bud? You didn't tell me. Like,
Pretty positive Nebuchadnezzar had some good meats or something. There
Oh,
was probably
man.
some really good food going on there.
maybe that's how Daniel did it right here. He was like, hey, y'all, back me up on this. We got you, boy. He's like, 10 days. They're like, whoa,
Wait,
man.
hold on.
We just thought you were going to be like, hey.
We thought we were just gonna do it out for like a day or two. You said 10 days.
Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Daniel.
Cut it. Yeah.
Yeah. But the reward, I mean, here's Daniel making that bold step. Mike.
Absolutely, yeah.
Jared, he's making this bold step, and then what does God do for him? Go ahead.
So he ends up looking better than any of the other people.
Say that again, man.
He ends up looking better. Like, he's in better shape, you know?
Okay.
They actually look good. They're only ingesting water and vegetables. That's it. Everyone else is having all the king's food.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yet they don't turn out near as well as Daniel and his boys.
Yeah. So in this detox journey, I think everyone is improving, looking better. Either whether it be spiritually primarily, even doing without that dinner. If you're going without dinner, if you don't eat after 6, that's always good. But looking at Daniel as this model, he's looking good. We're looking good. We're all looking good.
Right.
Yeah. On this detox journey.
Well, and I think, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it made them have to reevaluate what they had the
Yeah,
others eating. You know what I
they
mean?
did.
Like,
Well, and I think that's supposed to be the idea of our Christ-following lives, is not, in fact, that we bend to the world around us and import their ideas.
Say
but in
that.
fact, we stand strong in Christ's ideas, and then they say, I need to reevaluate the way I'm doing life. And I think our social media fast has done that a lot. Like, already, because I'm, as I said earlier, I don't really ever do social media. When I have those conversations with people, it always makes them be like,
Wait a minute.
I should probably slow down on the social media. It's like, I didn't tell you had to. Now,
Yeah.
I'm just doing, this is what I felt like to do.
Yeah.
But I think even in this social media fast, I know I've had conversations with different people that they're like, yeah, when I tell people this is what I'm doing, they're kind of like, whoa, wait, what?
But we can all three agree that there's nothing wrong with reevaluating anything. I think it's it's a good thing to reevaluate some things.
Yeah, no, I would absolutely agree with that. I'll also say that since the social media fast, I mean, I was pretty open. I was a social media addict. Hey, my name's Mike. I'm addicted to social media.
He's 3 weeks sober.
Yeah, I'm three weeks sober. Yeah, 3 weeks sober.
Yeah.
But no, it makes a huge, profound impact, because if we're just delving into the things of the Spirit,
Okay.
and that's all that we're focused on, my
Okay.
conversations with other people outside of the journey
Sure.
are surrounded
yeah.
in nothing but spiritual conversation.
Yeah.
And that's made a huge difference to me, how I feel, things I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I mean,
yeah.
obviously, Jared, you weren't a social media addict. It's
Yeah.
fine.
We all got our things though, right?
We all have our things.
And
we all have our things.
it's kind of like what you were saying about your meal thing. Well, I already kind of only eat one meal a day, so I got to do something different. Like, there is those sense of these fasts are like, yes, if it speaks directly to us, we need to participate, because it's going to do what Nathaniel just said, reevaluate us, right? And then if not, like, okay, how do we also still reevaluate things in the manner that it needs to be done?
Yeah.
And I think that's the key behind these journeys, is the idea of saying we can't just say I'm following Christ, but never actually get on the road and start going that way.
That's right.
And
That's
fasting
right.
is one of the big disciplines that Christ participated in, urges us to. Obviously, we see Daniel, Moses. We looked at him last week.
Yep.
We're going to be looking at Elijah next week. And there is a ton of people throughout Scripture that do all sorts of fasting in that same notion of saying, I need to reevaluate and make sure I'm putting that weight on God over putting that weight in trust in the world.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And as we've said so many times, we're not preaching against and saying social media is the devil, you shouldn't do it.
Right,
Like,
no,
like reevaluate it.
Yeah.
To make sure it doesn't have a hold on you.
Yeah.
And you've got a hold of it, because removing and replacing as needed throughout the rest of our lives, not just in this 6 weeks.
Yeah, well, I think that's the big thing, is this isn't just for the 6 weeks. Yes, we are on some different fasts that we're going through.
Sure.
But I hope that these carry into people's daily lives after the fact. I know it's going to carry into mine.
Yeah.
And I think that's the whole, obviously, it's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
hopefully
yeah.
it's a new daily rhythm.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking, like Daniel, for example. I'm sure that wasn't his last time he fasted. You know, it becomes a part of your habit, your nature. You know, when you begin to fast and you get breakthroughs, or you get victories, however you want to frame it.
Right.
You say, wait a minute, I need to go back and do that again.
Absolutely.
So we are encouraging you to stay focused even after this fast. Maybe it's
100%.
maybe something. Maybe you want to continue fasting something.
Yeah.
But just know that like right here in this community is where something really happened that sparked a change for consistent reevaluation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and I think too, seeing all the different ways fasting can be used and should be used as a kind of as a tool in our tool belt of how do we become more like Christ. Fasting is one of those things.
Right.
And I think a lot of times fasting was just looked at probably as like, that's for the super spiritual people, or
100%.
Yeah, or well, it's not really necessary to get there. It's like, that's kind of like saying it's not necessary to push on the gas pedal to get the car to go. It's like, yeah, you do. You got to put gas, like, you know.
It helps.
It's not necessary to
It
refuel
helps.
the tank.
And that brings me to something I was going to say, but I forgot, but now I remember.
Okay.
It's something about when you are a believer, follower of Christ, when you have this spiritual alignment with Christ.
Right.
It's about how are you depositing your faith or your time daily. One thing I know about God is that whatever you give him, he will multiply it. So where you're pinching off just 4 to 5 weeks without something, he's
Right.
going to multiply that.
Right.
So the value is in just the obedience, the submission. Stop thinking about what am I missing out on, but what am I indeed gaining? I think that's, if we focus on what we gain as believers, as followers of Christ, we're less concerned about what we're going to lose, because we know whatever we gain is going to be multiplied. And we're going to go back in with that sense of reevaluation, knowing like, okay, I used to do this way. I still do it, but I do it differently because
the manner is radically
yes,
different.
yes.
Well, I know that for me, you know, you talk about the gain. You know,
Okay.
this week I gained some amazing conversations that revolved around faith.
Can you share one with us? Is it okay?
Yeah, I can share one. I had a friend that reached out because I had sent him our discussionary video, our last discussionary video. Just kind of shared it, put it out there.
Okay.
It opened the door to some conversations that I didn't think he and I would probably ever have together. And it's been something that's pretty amazing because they did focus on the spiritual, right?
Okay.
And you know, this particular person, I mean, hey, things are actually good in their life.
Yeah.
Like, you know, all their
Okay.
needs are met, you know, financially and otherwise, right? But yet there's something missing.
We know what that
Right?
something is.
We
Yeah.
do.
I heard the guy say it this way, I loved it. I think his name was Matthew Stevenson, and he said, you know, the problem is you can't fix people who don't know they're broken with a broke gospel. We can't use half of the gospel message. It's just for the people who are in dire straits. And yes, of course, Christ is there and he says, come to me, weary, heavy laden.
Yeah.
I'll give you rest. Of course, yes, it's for those in dire straits, but it's also, especially here in the United States, where it's like, even we have so much luxuries that we really don't take account for. Even those of us that sometimes may feel like, oh, well, I don't have all of what that person has. We're still living like kings compared to, right? You know, like to even Nebuchadnezzar and Daniel. Like, we're living better than what they, you know. And it's like, how do you reach those people? It's like, well, I got money, I got this. There's nothing particularly going awry in life. It's like the fullness of the gospel, the fullness of following Christ, because there's where that kind of gap is. And we have to have the fullness of the gospel, not just the, hey, if life's really crappy, God's there. It's like, no. When life's going well, how do you push more of that? You know, how do you bring that more into perspective?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of that big shift.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what it means to follow Christ.
Right.
Because my mom used to always say, Jared, you want all that? It takes all that.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times we look at these stories in scripture, like of Daniel and Moses, and we're like, look at Daniel. It's like, yeah, but that was like game day for him. That was like, he stood up to the plate and he knocked it out of the park, stood firm in God. It's like, I want to do that. Okay, well, let's look at how Daniel's life was. Well, he was carrying commands of God. He lived in it daily.
Yeah.
And as you were pointing out, Nathaniel, the very manner he did the same things everyone else did. He, in our day and age, he went to work. He had a family. He paid bills. But the way he did it was so different that it caused people to say, wait,
Right.
something's going on here.
That's right.
And to your point with your conversation,
Yeah.
it's that sense of you created space in your life for the spiritual things to fill. And we get this promise that it will then overflow, multiply.
Absolutely.
And then now it's flowing into others' lives.
Absolutely.
But it never could have happened if we didn't create space. How do you create space? Remove.
Replace.
Replace.
Okay, so I got a question.
Okay.
It's one of those kind of, I don't know, it's one of
Put it
those
out
questions. If you are not seeing your life being multiplied, then what's going on?
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
If we're these vessels that are supposed to be running over,
Yeah.
right? If we pass somebody, if someone sees us, you know a tree by the fruit it bears,
Yes.
right? But when we are being multiplied and we are removing and replacing, there indeed should be something that intrigues, something that magnetizes someone that says, "Oh man," because people aren't around. If someone's thirsty, they're gonna be around people who have water.
Correct.
And I feel like when you carry those deposits, that multiplication, that overflow, it's people gravitate to you. But that's the moment to give God glory.
When you offer that living water.
Okay,
Man,
there it is.
it is.
Cool, did you say cool?
See what you did there.
Sorry,
Did you
put
say
that out.
cooling water or living water?
Living water.
Living water.
Well, I think though, but that is a big question, and there's a great book. First, let me back up for a minute.
Okay.
There's a great book called The Spirit of the Disciplines by Dallas Willard.
I may have heard that.
Yeah, I've recommended it multiple times. It's actually a resource for this journey that we've attached to the bottom to say, hey, go get and read this book. I will let everybody know it's a little thick.
Okay.
You know, it's a little thick, but he addresses that exact thing, right? It's like, okay, this is the promise. You know, the easy, burden's easy yoke. He addresses that and says, so what is it? How do we make sense then? Is if we say, well, my life, I'm a Christ follower, but my life seems to be missing that je ne sais quoi, right? It's missing that.
Okay.
What's the deal? And he addresses it so beautifully. I mean, and granted, it's like a 200-page book, so we couldn't go through all of his points, but he uses the scriptures just to show maybe we're missing something. And one of the things he points out is we're missing the discipline of the daily, as you said.
Okay.
It's the daily. Because many times, when we look and we say, well, my life doesn't look that way and I'm a quote unquote Christian, usually what we mean is I have accepted the right thought in my head.
Correct.
You know, I have accepted that God exists, there's one God, and I've accepted that Jesus was his son, he died on the cross. So why isn't my life there? And it's like,
son. That's all I got to do, right?
And the hard truth of the matter is, James 2:19 puts it so well. He says, so you believe there's one God and Jesus is Lord? Good job. The demons believe that.
Yes. Yep.
So whoa. That's really pumping the brakes.
Yeah.
Or it should be for us to say, so there's more to it? Yeah. That's why we're called Christians, to be Christ-like.
Yeah.
And so to be like someone, you got to follow in their footsteps. You've got to reorient your life and do the same manners and practices that person did, you know. And this is the example that Willard uses in the book, Spirit of the Disciplines, and it's a great one. Baseball. Nathaniel, you love some baseball.
I do.
And the example he uses is like the little, little minor league kid player, and he's got this famous guy, this tells you how much I know about baseball. The most popular baseball guy I know is Nolan Ryan. I know he ain't played in a long time, but
That's all right.
let's just use it, right? Let's use this example.
We are in Texas.
Yeah, it's Texas.
Yeah.
I know Nolan Ryan now because he makes steaks, and but anyways, right? Like, so the kid has that famous, Major League Baseball player, and he goes and gets the same shoes and cleats. He gets the same glove, the same bat. He holds it the same way. He does it all the same, and all of us know that's not going to make the kid play like that.
Right.
What makes the kid play like that is if he actually, not on Saturday game day. It's what happens on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. What are you doing daily to do the practicing of it all? And that kid's gonna have to make some sacrifices. He wants to be that good. You don't get to go, well, I want to be in baseball and I want to be a skateboarder and I want to go do this. No, you gotta remove those things to make space for the growth and the real thing.
The thing that I heard Jared just say was daily.
Yes,
right?
daily.
Doing the daily.
Daily.
I can sense and feel that there are some home runs being made because of these daily practices in this detox.
Yeah, deeper connections with family.
Deeper connection with family, where people were striking out and fouling out, they're making home runs now. You know what I mean? So keep the practice going, keep the daily going.
Absolutely.
Consistency is key.
Keep pursuing it.
Let's,
Keep pursuing it.
And let's see what challenge there is for next week.